Hello. In today's video, I wanted to speak about accepting God in your life. Why it is important to accept God in your life. So, I'm constantly being plugged into what's happening in the world, the opinions of people from all parts of the world, no matter what kind of movement, community they are in, no matter the race, religion, whatever. And I'm constantly seeing this pattern, right? That no matter where you are, no matter what you identify as, no matter what you're doing, everything boils down to your maturity, right? Everything boils down to your maturity, to your integrity, to you being spiritually evolved, and then acting from that place. And when you're spiritually evolved, when you are actually a mature, an adult, a responsible being, no matter in what kind of movement you are then doing the good work. You're having good influence. Your intention is good because you are doing from integrity, right? You're doing from maturity. You're having a mature influence on the world if you're being mature. And whatever kind of means, whatever kind of ideology, religion, system, or whatever you are in, then it is having that kind of influence on the world from the intention, from the value that you work through, right? If you're coming from a mature standpoint, from a whole, from a worthy, mature value, from your natural value, from responsibility, from alignment, from obeying God, from being one with God, then whatever you're working through, whatever you're communicating, using to communicate to the society, whatever you're doing, then it's having a good influence on the people, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of subject topic are we now speaking about. It is just about where are you coming from. If you're coming from a mature place, then you're being responsible, and then you're taking automatically care of all the people in the world. And if you're then being irresponsible, right, immature, spiritually unevolved, not embodied, unconscious, then you're being like that, right? If you are then being immature, whatever medium you're using, whatever community ideology you are in, you're a part of, you subscribe to, then you're having that kind of influence. Immature and irresponsible, distorted, and unworthy, right? The way that you are, this is how you will influence the world, no matter what kind of means, medium, tool you're operating through. This is how it is. This is how it is. It doesn't matter. Because I see people, for instance, like nobody can deny that there is racism in the world, right? And then that there was this white supremacy where white people thought that black people are less, right? Not everybody thought that. I did never thought this, but the majority, or at least the most influential people, thought like that. that actually black people are something less, right? Even though I view them as something more, as the most superior race, the best, most beautiful. I never view them as less, right? But the people in the past, the ones that had influence in society, they forced the narrative that white is the best and that black is bad, right? This racism. And this is not right, right? But now we have, because the whole history was manipulated, right? Like, if you see what we were taught, for instance, about Egypt, right? We were taught that, like, there were like white people in the leadership positions, right? When it obviously were the black, right? It is obvious as fuck that black people were dominating in Egypt, for instance, right? Because all of the people that are drawn there, they all look black. They don't look white people, like white people. But history was totally distorted, right? They made it look like we were the ones, like the white people were the ones that were in leadership position, when actually they were not. And now that this truth, these facts of history, or we could just say a more clearer, newer version of the story of the history, it's coming out. Now some black people are just doing what the white people were doing before them. Instead of us maturing and unifying in this world, becoming mature, responsible, and taking care of all the people, so there is no more division, so we can be unified and we can save ourselves and make a system where everybody got everything everybody is taken care of. No, now the immature people, the black, those people, not everybody, right? But the immature black people are now just saying, writing even the books and making profiles and influencing people by saying how actually the black race is the superior, and that the white actually came from the caves, and that this is the truth, that the black are some kind of superior species, and that now they are with anger again just dividing black and white. Before it was the white that were dividing themselves from the black, and now, because the truth has been revealed, now the immature black people, before the immature white people were dividing us from the black, and now the black immature people are dividing us from the white. So this story of division never ends. It never ends. Some people say an eye for an eye, right? If they killed us, we should be killing them right now. If they divided us, we should now be dividing ourselves from them, right? But this way we never unify. We never come to a conclusion, even if all the truth, even if all the black people, even if all the white people, even if all the people in the world now come to the true history, to the truth of our existence. What does it matter if you are immature actually as a soul, not fully embodied, and now you're not now going to be irresponsible with the knowledge you got? So there is no benefit then in knowing the truth if you are not mature and responsible enough to know what to do with these facts, with this truth, with this real story about life, about ourselves, about humanity. So I just proved, and you can see this in the world, that actually it don't matter what kind of technology we have, it don't matter what kind of truth you realize or it is revealed to us. It doesn't matter if you are not responsible enough, if you're not mature, if you're not sovereign, if you're not worthy in energy, if you're not whole, a soul fully embodied, a soul fully being allowed to be expressed as a full spectrum human being through this body. If you're not allowed, if you don't have this internal rejection of yourself dissolved by obeying God and being one with it, so then being one with all of you, and then mirroring this oneness into the world, and in that, right, being responsible because you are one with God, you can be one with all of humanity, and so then you're truly being responsible where you can take care of everybody. So if you're not being like this, if you're not being mature, what are you doing? You're then just bringing new destruction. All this technology, it don't matter. Even if we produce free energy for the whole world, like Nikola Tesla or whoever wanted it for us to happen, right? Even if we have all the abundance of the world, what good is it if there are still immature people in the world that are just going to distort it again, right? So as I see it, the most important thing on the planet that should be taught is spirituality. Spirituality, it's the most important subject in the life. In the school, in our schools, the only subject from now on that should be taught is spirituality, not psychology, not shadow work or how to resolve trauma or mathematics or physics or science. Not this shit. The only thing that we should be taught is spirituality, because we already have the knowledge of producing technology. We already have that. We already know how to produce robots. Can't you see that there are now already robots that are more athletic than a human being? We already have AI, and what is being hidden from us, we don't even know what kind of technology is being hidden from us. Like, we already know everything materialistic that we need to know in order to live a harmonic society, in order for us to have a materialistic, abundant life. We already have that knowledge. We know how to take free energy. It is just not being provided to humanity. It's being hidden from us. We already got that, how to get free energy and how can everybody have everything that we need physically to survive materialistically, right? We already have that. And that which is remaining still, it's just being hidden, but we already have it, right? But even if it's given to us, will we be mature enough to know how to use it for good, to spread it worldwide so everybody is being taken care of? So there is no more these extremes of luxury and the elite and the very poor people, but we all have enough. So there is no more extremes. But what will be, like, only spirituality is the thing that will allow us to become mature enough for us to be internally satisfied. So we know that we don't need everything, we just need enough, and that it is more important for everybody to have it than for some people to have all and some none, right? If you are responsible, if you are satisfied, if you have internal peace because you as a soul are allowed to be your whole spectrum self spontaneously throughout the life, you're then being worthy and you're being satisfied. You are being, you don't need any validation from outside of yourself because your own power is validating yourself, right? So if you are being like that, then you're being responsible. You're working from this state of satisfaction, relaxation, empowerment, where you know you don't need anything anymore because you're already being validated by your own power, and you are mature enough and embody enough love to know that we are a family, and that we should take care of each other, right? Like there are people that say that they follow Jesus or religion or Christianity or whatever, right? Or Islam or whatever, Mohammed or whatever, right? So there are people that say that they follow the religion, and there are people that say, oh no, I don't follow the religion because religion is bad, but actually I follow Jesus, for instance, right? And they are still immature, not seeing how they are actually being a hypocrite in their life when they speak that they follow the Jesus because they are more evolved than the people that follow religion, but they still actually don't follow Jesus because they are still dividing ourselves, humanity, instead of uniting us. They are still dividing us and saying how we should be, how they are, instead of us accepting God truly, energetically, experientially in our lives for Him to reveal our own value to us. The only identity there is that should be recognized is that you are the child of God. This is the only identity. I don't understand people being so happily being identified with Christianity, Islam, or the follower of Jesus, or Slovenian American, a patriot, liberal, or whatever, right? I really don't get it. This is just limitation. It is just limitation. And nothing is wrong with it, but if you are immature, you are going to use it. You are going to use it for division. It's how it is. Because it already is division by itself, right? You are dividing yourself into identities. And if you are immature, you identify, you are attached to it if you are immature. And then if you are attached to it, it means that you will fight for it. And everybody that's different, you will just fight amongst, right? You will fight amongst each other and just keep this division alive. And if we are divided, the elite can do whatever the fuck they want with us, right? Nothing's wrong with the identities, but if you're heavily attached to them, then this is the problem. And you're only attached to, for instance, religion because you're still immature, right? The truly mature people, they are just one with God. They don't care. They don't care about what people think in this world because they have God. They are already one with the source. They are working from the source. They channel the source. And through that acceptance of God, they are being mature. They are being whole, full, satisfied. Their cup is full. And a person, a soul that's like that doesn't need any more guidance from the religion, for instance, because it has guidance from God. So truly mature people, like the fully mature people, they don't follow anybody anymore, but their own intuition. That is the compass that God is speaking through. That's it. This is how it is. And Like, this is the only problem that we have in the world. People not accepting God in their life. People say they follow Jesus, but they only follow Jesus or religion or following any other community or worldview, ideologies, political sides, or whatever. They are only following that. In a sense, they just take what they need from it, but they don't want to follow it all the way. For instance, people say that they are following God, right, or Jesus, or whatever, right? That they are true believers or something like that, right? But actually, they are not. They are not. They just bamboozle themselves. They are not. They just take what is good for them, what makes them feel safe, what just affirms their already way of living that makes them feel safe. They just take what benefits them, and the rest they leave aside. For instance, people of this world that speak about religion, right, and Mohammed or Jesus or whatever, or even the races, right? For instance, this story of the races, it truly I don't get it. Like, people that are now, for instance, the black people that are now fully recognizing that actually they are the superior race in this world and that they were all lied to, and recognizing that they were the leaders of the world. And now they just being angry towards all the white people because they should now be dominating us, right? It's like, I see two problems in that. First of all, I didn't dominate black people. Even though I'm inhabiting white body, a white avatar, I didn't dominate any black people in my life. I'm not a dominator. I never did. This is the first thing, right? If you're trying to hate on the white people, don't hate on me, because I didn't dominate any black people in this lifetime. And the next problem that I see is, how are you still so blind to identify with the body? How are you still so blind to identify with the body and not seeing that limitation? That actually, when you identify with the body, you saying that you are the black race, right? You saying that you are the black race is now just you identifying with the story of you once, your race, not even you weren't, but your race was once a slave, and now that race recognize that they are the leader actually, and because you are identified with the body, you're now just taking something that you didn't even experience for yourself. You were never a slave. Just the way the new black people of the world were slaves, even the whites were, right? This whole idea of white supremacy mostly comes from very immature people or the elite or from the past. Like, the new people that are mature, we don't view a world like that. This is not our narrative. It doesn't exist in us. Right? In the mature people, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are, it is just about, are you being mature or are you being immature? This is the only standard. Are you still identifying and subscribing to this world division identities and narrative ideologies, or are you identifying with the child of God? That's it. This is the only thing that mature people see and separate themselves from, right? I'm a child of God. I'm here to make a family in this planet with whoever identifies as a child of God. That's it. Are you capable of that? Are you on that level in energy where you cannot be not like this, right? Where there is no other way for you but to be a child of God, not because you believe to be a child of God, but because you are truly like that on the energetic level, because you have truly changed holistically. That's the point. But people that are not already there, that still are far from that, they are identified with their race, for instance, and now they think, well, black, we were always the leaders, and the white actually came from the caves, and they are like the cave people. And now they're just being angry towards white people, and they will just use this story and this identity and this immaturity to just make everything wrong about the white people. We never resolve humanity like this. Never. There was also shit done upon me. I was also slave to some people throughout my life. I was controlled like a dog. My God. I also went through all the shit in this life, just like anybody else, right? And the modern black people, they were not a slave of anybody. Like, let's be real, okay? We are all being slaves right now. Those generations that were slaves and that were in the war, they were all just being deceived. They were all just taken advantage of. Everybody was being taken advantage of. So now projecting this anger that you have, projecting all of that onto the other is just a sign of immaturity. You still identifying with the narrative, with, for instance, the avatar, the ideologies of this world, you still identifying with exactly that which the elite wants for us to identify and divide ourselves from. You're still being immature, and still because of that identification and attachment, projecting that upon the others, instead of realizing, fuck, we will never come anywhere like that. Constantly projecting and not taking our responsibility for becoming a sovereign being, which, even though all the shit has happened upon us, we still call for unity. We still call people into unity. We still preach unity. I could also become just a destructive being in my life. How much shit has been done upon me from this system and from the family. I could just be the most destructive fuck in this planet and just be killing people, right? We can all be like this. Like, I have neighbors and people that are just like, there was so much shit done upon me that I now have the right to be the destructive person, right? Because I was hurt so much, now I have all the right in the world to just be destructive, right? This is just immaturity and hurt, and we never come anywhere like that. Being like that, we don't resolve shit, right? So what does maturity mean? I accept where I am, what was given to me, and I make the best out of it. That's it. I learn from the bad and I focus on the good. That's it. This is the only way to come somewhere in life. To take what was given to you, all the bad and all the good, learn from the bad and evolve, develop the good. Learn from the bad, learn from the history, learn from the past, and still focus on the good. Because how are we going to manifest the good if we are focusing on the bad? It is impossible. Where we will give energy, that will be manifested, right? If you are now projecting and identifying with the body, with the narrative of the world, with this divisive narrative, with the avatar, with ideologies, with religion, if you are now identifying with this from your immature hurt state, you will just bring more division. And if you bring actually division, if you're being like that, you actually bring division in the world. And if you are saying that you're only bringing division from other race, but you're actually bringing unification within your own race, you're just performing. You're just lying. Because your division doesn't actually come from ideologies. It comes from your energetic unworthiness. It comes from your repression of life force. It comes from your energetic partialness. It comes from your energetic dissociation. The story is just a means through which you project that dissociation onto the world. It's just an excuse. But it actually comes from within, from your soul not being free to be who it is in the moment, in the spontaneous way of life. It is not being allowed to be who it is, fully, a full spectrum human being. Not performing that, but being that spontaneously when God demands from you to be how you are, how it is in the moment demanded from you to be, and then be aligned and be like that. This is spontaneity, right? This is humanness, full spectrum humanness that you can't perform. It is the way of least resistance. It is the way of no resistance. So spirituality is the most important subject on the planet. And as you can see, all the people that speak true, holistic truth, the highest truth, not the truth of what happened in the history, energetic truth, they are constantly being banned. They are constantly being limited. Their access to the humanity is being limited. Just look at my YouTube channel. Anybody that's speaking of true unity and how to achieve it is being banned from the society. Their access to the society is being limited by the deep state, heavily, by the elite, and they are being heavily monitored. And everybody that's even if they are speaking facts, but they still from immaturity you use those facts for division, they are being allowed. They're being allowed because no matter from what place you are coming, truth or false, if you are bringing more division to the planet, that's good. We have more chaos, right? They can hurt us than the elite even more. They can control us for a longer time. So acceptance of God in your life, it's one of the most important things you can do. I already explained why, because the acceptance of God allows you the recognition of you being the child of God. Because it reveals to you the value of you being the child of God. And when you recognize that, you actually recognize the most superior identity on the planet, no matter what kind of race you are, no matter what kind of history it was, right? People say that history defines us. This is such a stupidity. They say that you have to know the history of your own race. People say that you have to know the history of your family, of your country, of your race, right? You have to know all of these histories in order for you to know who you are. You have to know your father and you have to know your mother in order for you to know who you are. This is just bullshit. These psychologists and all of the people in this planet that are heavily mental and intellectual and are not embodied in their energy, they are not being whole, they are just brainwashing us. You don't have to know your history in order for you to know who you are. You don't have to know, as a black man, for instance, your true black history where you were the superior being and that white actually are below you. You don't have to know that in order for you to know your own value. You don't have to know the historical facts and truth for you to behave like a valuable being and bring value to society. You don't have to know that. Because if you are immature, you will just use that to bring more division to the planet. And people are doing just that. I'm not imagining it. This is not me imagining stuff or me philosophizing. I'm just describing what is happening. Anybody who has the eyes can see this shit. There is no white people making black people the slaves. We were all slaves of some fucked up elite that's purely demonic. We were all slaves. We were all hurting. We were all suffering throughout life. All of our ancestors were being killed. And I have no problem saying that maybe black people had it the worst. Yes, I can recognize that, and it's true. But you are not going to bring justice to the world by now fighting against the white people, because I didn't make anybody a slave in my life. So you don't have to know your history in order to know your value. You don't have to have a father and mother, even though that would be fucking great if they are mature beings, right? Because we know that people had father and mother and the child still killed themselves because the childhood was so fucked up. So it's all about maturity. It's all about responsibility. So you don't have to know your history in order to know who you are. You don't have to. People know their own history and they still don't know who they are. The black people maybe didn't knew their true history, and the white people didn't knew their true history, right? Because it was all fucked up and made us believe some brainwashing idea, right? Where everything is distorted. So nobody knows themselves for who they are. Even if the white were being seen throughout the history as the most victorious one and most superior, look how they are behaving destructively, right? So knowing your history as you being some victorious, heroic being doesn't make you save society, doesn't let you reveal to you your own value. It doesn't. It is just information. It is just a story. It is just a narrative. It is just something that can maybe, for a short period of time, in the moment, maybe bring some sense of satisfaction, but it's not everlasting. Because we are not actually suffering the stories of life. We are suffering our rejection to our life force. We are suffering us not being satisfied by not being whole as a spirit embodied in this body. We are not allowing ourselves, because we didn't face our internal fear, we are not allowing ourselves to spontaneously express our humanness. That's it. And because of that, we have internal stress. And from there, that internal dissociation, we project onto the world distortion. We identify with distorted views and we bring destruction to the planet, division. So the only thing you have to do in order for you to know yourself, even if you had no parents, even if you had no father, even if you had no mother, even if you don't know history, because you don't know your history, even if you know a more clearer story of what was happening, you don't know your history, because we didn't exist only for a few thousand years. We are existing already for so many years that we can't even fathom, right? We can't even imagine for how many eons are we already existing. And we don't know that history. We don't know that. And that doesn't even actually matter, because still you are a soul, and soul not being allowed to be expressed through the body is the only problem. So it's all about the soul, right? The spirituality, about the spirit, right? Spirituality is just spirituality. It's not you learning spirituality. It's not you philosophizing about spirituality. Spirituality, it's not about you doing spiritual practices until you die. It's not about you meditating. It's not about you doing breath work. It's not about you doing ayahuasca or mushrooms or all this bullshit. Spirituality, it's who you are. Spirituality, it's you, the spirit that needs to be fully expressed in order to be satisfied. This is the only spirituality there is. That's why most of the people on the world, they don't resonate with spirituality, because spirituality is just another religion, philosophy, where people just perform being spiritual. True spirituality is just you as the spirit being allowed to spontaneously be fully human, to spontaneously express your full spectrumness, your full humanness. That's it. This is whole spirituality. And now how to come to that, right? Now how to come to that way of being. People are performing spirituality for their whole lives, and they still are not capable of being human. This is just fucked up. It is just the acknowledgement, the recognition how spirituality that is being sold into the world is actually very limited, and just another religion, just another set of beliefs and rules that people follow and actually don't embody. Because embodiment can, true lasting embodiment, not just the management of stress, but true lasting embodiment of the spirit, of who you are, can only happen one way. And this is by accepting God in your life. It's the only way. How can you say that you're spiritual, but you never mention the word God? You don't feel being connected to God. You don't feel God residing within. How are you then going to recognize this, you identifying yourself with being the child of God? How are you going to recognize that if you're not embodying, truly being holistically like that? How are you going to recognize that? You're then just going to perform another thing in life, constantly performing and faking it. Until you're performing, it means that you are not being whole. It means that you are not being validated by your own. You are not depending on God. You're not depending on your own life force, because you're not being fully one with it. And if you're not being fully one with it, there is always some part, some fear in you still left that can be used as food for the devil, for the demonic army, and as a leverage for you to be manipulated, to be used for destructiveness in the world. Because until you're purified, you will see the world through some kind of distortion. You will not see unity. You will still see separateness, division. And you will, therefore, you wanting or not, you will prescribe to it because you are it. You will see division because you are still divided. So unity with God, unity with life force, it's one of the most important things in life. This is what I came here to do. This is why I live here. This is why I exist. This is my purpose. So how to accept God in your life? Why this is the most important thing you can do in life? Why this is true salvation for you? So God, right? You liking the word God or not, it doesn't matter. Just the fact that you're now being alive, right? Just the fact that you're now being alive and you seeing in your life how actually you were living in fear and you processing a part of that fear gave you more life, made you more whole, gave you more life, made you be more fearless and manifest a more abundant life, and standing more in your power, more in your discernment. Everybody has experienced a degree of that, a degree, the recognition that actually evolution is happening, right? Everybody has recognized that already in their own experience. The fact that this body isn't just functioning on its own and that you're some kind of programmable robot, but that actually life force is being provided to you, and if you face the fears, you get more of it. If you remove the blockage of fear, more flow of life is being provided to you. Just the fact of humans getting better by resolving their own fear, it's the confirmation of evolution and therefore the proof of God. You are evolving by facing your fears. From spontaneously expressing what's being in the moment, from spontaneously being, not from performance, but from spontaneously expressing what's present, your full humanness. So, if you resolve the fears and you have more life force, it means that this life force is being provided to you. It is flowing through you. It is flowing to you, but you have to accept it, right? So, just the fact of all of this, just the fact of this intelligence speaking to you, and the intelligence in you recognizing the truth of what I speak, or at least some kind of resonance of what I speak. I don't know everything, but you resonate to some degree with what I speak. Just the fact that there is this intelligence that strives and wants to have peace, to want to have harmony, to want to be whole, to want to be sovereign, independent, discerning in life. Just this fact of us recognizing the bad and good in life, that there is this agenda of instilling fear into us, where we then resist ourselves and are weak and resistant and divided in the world. Just the fact of all of this is the proof of God. Because what's then the point of all of this? What's the point of all of this then? If us not standing together in God, what's the point? What's the point? Then everything can just go into the shit and we should all just kill ourselves. What's the point? What's the point then of life? If not of recognizing ourselves as family. Us coming from the same source, because I'm not this body. I'm not the white race. You're not the black race. I'm the life that's giving life to this body. I'm the life force. I'm the flow of God. I'm the life force that's being provided to me, right? At some point, it will be taken from me, right? I don't manifest this life. We allow manifestation to happen. We don't make it happen. Like, we are not manifesting this life. You just allow manifestation to happen. The God manifests life. Are you allowing that to happen? Are you aligning with what He's providing to you? Are you open, aligned with what's being provided to you? And then do you act on that? This is how life is being manifested. We don't manifest it. We don't make shit. We are just obeying God. Are you obeying God? If you're not obeying God, we manifest destruction, limitation. If we are obeying God, we bring more life. We bring more harmony to life. I had 3 autoimmune diseases. Almost all of it, it's already gone away. I will make in the future, I have pictures and videos of my journey, how it went. Starting to obey God, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but starting to obey God is just about being open. Are you open enough? I'm still to some degree processing, for instance, the fear of anger, but I'm being open to it, and I'm feeling it, and I'm embodying it, I'm expressing it. I'm being one with it. I'm still obeying the guidance. I'm not rejecting it. I'm not distracting from it. So the dedication to being open, it's enough. You being aligned and acting on what's being demanded from you, right? Just the fact of all of this, when you start acting on your intuition, when you start acting on God, when you're open, truly in your feminine, and then acting on that femininity, acting on that openness, so then being fully masculine and already working from that, from the balance of feminine and masculine, you can manifest a balanced feminine and masculine within, right? If you are aligned and then acting on your alignment, you're being feminine, because femininity means being open like a vagina, right? And then acting, an action man, acting on that. You're acting from femininity and masculinity. And therefore, if you're living like that, this is the acceptance of God in your life on experiential, energetic, holistic level. You're then manifesting for yourself a balanced life. You don't balance, you don't manifest a balanced human being by starting to do masculine or feminine behavior, tasks, learning these kind of skills. You don't become more masculine by going to fitness and starting MMA. You don't become more feminine by starting to, or I should say, a balanced masculine or a balanced feminine. You don't become that by, for instance, starting to cook or dance. You will not become more balanced human being because of that. You will not become a more balanced feminine being if you learn how to cook or you start working with children. You will not. We are not programmable. This is just all mumbo jumbo. We are not programmable beings. All this programming is falling apart. It doesn't work. It doesn't bring everlasting change. If it doesn't bring everlasting change, it's just delusion. And it is delusion. You can only manifest a balanced being by accepting God in your life, to allow the God to reveal the value of ourselves, of who we are, not our history that is all just mumbo jumbo, but God, right? Let God, the history will not make you whole. The history will not allow you to be whole, have experience of your full spectrumness and wholeness, and therefore be aware of yourself. The history doesn't allow that to you. knowing true facts of the history will not reveal this to you. History, even just listen. The white race had this history of being the supreme being, right? Did this knowing, even though it was false, did this knowing that the white is the supreme race, this false knowing makes white race reveal to them their own value, and therefore unified them in this knowing of being a valuable child of God, of free being, and then bringing that, mirroring and projecting that to the world? No, it didn't. It didn't. History don't make change. Even if you know the truth of history, it will not make any change. You knowing your father and your mother will not make any change. You having just a father or just a mother will not make any change. We can all heal only through God, not through a therapist. I cannot heal you. I'm just guiding you to your own healing. I cannot heal you. Nobody can heal you. All this programming, all this is bullshit. All of this society is bullshit. You can only be healed through God. God is healing you, literally. The life force heals you. Actually, the dissolvement of rejection of the life force is healing you. So healing actually is our default state. We in our natural state are constantly being healed, constantly being fully charged, empowered beings. We don't even know how strong we can be, because God has created all of this shit, right? God has created all of it. So the ultimate power, can you imagine how much power we can have? It's pretty crazy. So it's about accepting God in your life so that she can reveal to you who you are, right? How can you be aware of yourself if you don't have the experience of yourself? And how can you have the experience of yourself if you are not in the moment being aligned with the life force that's coming, being provided from God? If you're not being open to it instead of rejecting it, if you're not being open in your feminine instead of rejecting it, and then acting on it, being in your masculine and acting on it, if you're not being like that, how will you manifest yourself? How, as a balanced, full being, and therefore at some point be aware to who you are, how it is impossible. Only God will reveal to you who you are, your own true value, and in that balanced wholeness somewhere in the future, that will happen if you start living like that right now, accepting God in your life. Only in that way, in this way, you can see who you are. You can get to know yourself, know thyself, right? All this spiritual mambo jumbo, know thyself. This is the only way to know thyself. This is the only way where you truly just leave all of the identities of the world that were given to us. And nothing's wrong with them in your mature state, but you just forget about them. They don't make any sense to you. They don't bring any value to you. Where you just recognize yourself as the only identity that you actually need. You being a child of God, you truly being in the image of Him or she, right? You being whole, you being the image, in the image of power, right? You being powerful, you being powerful enough to be whole, to be balanced, right? To be, when in the moment, in the spontaneity in the life, when certain parts of the spectrum of humanness is being demanded from you to be lived and expressed. You are capable of that because you're resilient and powerful enough to be aligned and acting on that. Because you have been already doing this your life and you're accustomed to it, and you have, by being like that, resolved the fear to it. It's magical. Life, it's magical. It truly is. It is magical. If you don't feel magic in your life, something's wrong with you. I'm sorry. If you don't feel the magic of life. What is wrong with you is that you're just resisting it. You're not allowing it. And many people are just then like, yes, but I want to allow it. Then just people say, I have recognized that I'm valuable and I deserve the best. And they are just then affirming to themselves in wishful thinking 10,000 times a day how they are the best and most powerful. But this doesn't manifest our reality. The mind is not so powerful. God is the highest power. Because God is the energy that gives life to all of it, even to the mind. The people that speak about mental being the authority of life, about that philosophy, ideology of mentalism, is just delusion. This is just one step below still the highest power of God. Because life force is manifesting everything. Everything that we know of. It even gives life to the thoughts, to the mind, to the imagination. If there is no God, if there is no life force, there is no imagination. You can already see when you're sick, for instance, or in a very bad shape, how your imagination actually, it's not working at full power. You're not fully being imaginative, right? If you're lacking life force. Nobody can deny this. And not just that, maybe that imagination will be very negative, right? But when you're fully charged, when you're fully aligned, and being free in expressing who you are in the moment, then everything just works by itself. Everything is just working, aligning, all of these synchronicities, everything just synchronically aligning and working out effortlessly. You almost have this sense that everything is actually just being automated. Being manifested for you. Not you manifesting it, but manifested for you. Providing you the next step. Who can do this if not God? Because we can't. We didn't make this reality. I don't know what will be my next step. I don't know what I will speak in the next minute. Only God knows. In every video, I speak about acceptance of God and how to do it. I just explain it through a different context, through a different problem in this life. Because this is the only problem we have. We will never unite through ideologies. We will only unite not through stories, not through race, not through religion, only through the recognition. So only through maturity, only through recognizing ourselves as this ultimate identity of being a child of God. Only in this energetic recognition that we actually all truly are brothers and sisters, because we have our parent, our father and mother, as God. That's it. And how can you recognize these things? Is if you holistically, energetically, experientially aligned with what's being provided to your individual experience, are not being like that. How? Just by fabricating your reality in here, you're not making it real. Just because you can fabricate everything in your mind doesn't make it real. You have to start being realistic, grounded, ground yourself, start walking on this earth as the embodied soul, right? Not thinking how you can be something, but actually not being grounded. You think how you can be, how you are, and whatever, but you actually in your body, in your spontaneous expression of life, you're not being like that, right? We need to become grounded. Only when you become grounded by embodying your spirit, by allowing your spirit to spontaneously be who it is. This is what groundedness means. And I have already explained how do you come to that. Recognition of your full power. How? Recognition as that image of power, recognition as the child of God, recognition as the true child of our Heavenly Father and Mother, as the child and so as the brother and sister of all of other spirits in this realm, right? No matter how they look, everything that's on that energetic frequency level, it's the family. And if we can unite in that power, we can set this kind of world for us, where we eliminate from the group the immature and give them the chance, a true guidance to come to that maturity at some point. Because we will not ascend, all of us, together at the same time, right? Some are already ascended to that. Some are still not. But this is the only way. The only way to maturity is the acceptance of God. That's it. There is no other way. There is no religion. There is no other technique or method or ideology. Everything in this world that's not pointing to the experience of God. Everything in this world, every human being that's not pointing to the experience of God, with the aligned action of acting aligned with your life force in the moment, if they're not pointing to that, they're pointing to a delusion. I'm so very sorry, this is how it is. I'm not trying to be most intelligent, because I'm actually not even an intellectual human being. I'm very bad. I'm very bad in being in mathematics and science and all these intellectual things of the world. I don't mind about it. But what I do know is what it means to recognize yourself as the creation of Source. I know that. Because I'm being that. Because I am that. Not in wishful thinking. I am that even if I don't want to be that. This is how you are. You live in your heart naturally, predominantly. Mind is just a tool for you. People are yet to become mature in recognizing that, the power of love, the power of heart, what it means to have an open heart. How will you manifest for yourself that if you're right now not taking steps in being like that? How will you come to an open heart if you don't start opening your heart? Opening your heart as in being aligned to the life force of God, right? How are you going to manifest that if you're not already now taking steps into being like that? How? It's impossible. How will you stop performing, being a masculine man, when only in this way that I have spoken till now, you can become a balanced, mature man and see how you actually are, what your true masculinity actually is, how it looks like, what it means to be a balanced soul, right? A balanced human being. And it's the same for the woman. Acceptance of God in your life. It's the only religion, it's the only philosophy, the only tool, the only means, medium, through which we will bring unity to this planet. The recognition of yourself as the child of God, accepting God in your life on experiential energetic level. I have expressed already how this is done. I point to this in every video. This is how you truly can bring then this sense of family in the world, right? Then you can actually finally intimately connect with other beings. When we recognize ourselves as family because we have a father and mother in heaven, become whole and know how to be a man even if you didn't have a father in your life. Know how to be a woman even if you didn't have a woman in your life, because you're now the balanced human being, even more balanced than the image of your father and your mother in this physical life that you had. Even more balanced and more mature and more masculine than your father and more feminine than your mother and more balanced than them, right? This is the only thing you need. And the fact that these kind of videos don't come into the society is just the fact that we are not already there yet. And if this takes too long, I don't know how many people will actually survive, but it's coming. Acceptance of God in your life. Will unite the ones that are on that level and will make possible for those that are not on this level to come to that level through some non-distorted guidance. This is truly how we take responsibility for everybody. We take care for everybody. By aligning with God, I will repeat myself until I die, even though I sound like a parrot, like a cassette. But this is how it is. Okay. Thank you very much. And see you in the next videos. Goodbye.